If you followed me at all on social media, you know that I'm a big fan of live music, from, decent bar bands to big old artists like Springsteen and the Stones. Somewhere in the middle, I guess, are a group of acts that I've seen quite often over the last several years, tribute bands. And with that in mind, I'm going to talk with a great drummer who happens to be in one such band, Anthony Wolf Liberto of the Bad Company tribute, Burning Sky.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah. How you doing today, Chet? All right?
I'm doing great, man. Hey, so you and I messaged one another over the weekend, and you
Yeah.
mentioned that one of your bands that you played in back in the day was the Philly-based party band, The Rockets, which I definitely saw a couple of times, early 90s,
Right.
maybe. Is it
Yeah.
possible, when I saw those guys, it was you behind the drum kit?
Very, very possible because I think I played with them from 94, 95 for a few years. And they used to do Roosevelt's on the Roosevelt Boulevard.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've been there.
they were really, really big. Like when I was in the band, it was an amazing thing. We used to have ski trips, and the band is really well known. They're still out today. I guess they're still known, whatever, but obviously with different players. But yeah, I'm sure you did. We played everywhere, Northeast Philly, Jersey, Delaware, down Dewey Beach a lot.
How many bands have you played in, do you think, over the years?
Oh my, what a question. Uh, I'll give you my more predominant bands with no. So when I actually kind of started out, I worked for Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. I did a couple cruises with them, and I was subcontracted out by a band I was playing with. They had a contract with Royal Caribbean, so I actually did that. I did Tony and Tina's wedding for a while. I was doing that, and I did the Spirit of Philadelphia, the Dinner Spirit Show. I played with the Soul Cruisers, which is a really well-known, great,
Oh, wow, yeah.
um, yeah, 11 piece, I think they are, yeah, horn band. And I played with the Rockets. I actually played piano first, believe it or not, and then I started hearing the rock music. So I played in a lot of bands. They're more prominent ones, but weekend bar bands, stuff that just working your way up.
Well, we're going to talk about your fantastic current band, Burning Sky,
Thank
in
you.
just a bit. As I noted in the introduction, though, I've seen a lot of tribute bands in recent years, and there are a bunch of them out there. I mean, in the
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, New Jersey region alone, there are several that perform the music of Led Zeppelin, ditto the Stones, Black Sabbath, AC/DC, Bowie, the Eagles, Grateful Dead, Pink Floyd, and Springsteen, of course. I mean, heck, I'm in Jersey. I could go on. Many of them are actually able now to charge fairly hefty ticket prices for their shows. What is your theory, Anthony, on why there are so many tribute bands out there these days doing pretty well, apparently?
Well, number one, I think it's because take in the an example, say Led Zeppelin. Obviously, they're not around. I mean, they were pioneers in the rock industry, and I think that what it is there are just damn talented players that I'm not talking about cover bands that go to the corner bar and say, "Oh, we're doing a Zeppelin tribute." I'm talking about like a band like Get the Lead Out. Say those guys, they're it. I mean, they actually took the time to learn the studio recordings as opposed to the live recordings, and they're not about, oh, we got to be four pieces. The band is big, 6, 7 pieces. They do their acoustic set, the triple neck guitars, the banjos, the whole nine. So I think what it is that the market for tribute bands actually exploded when these tribute bands, they've been around for a while, even before there was the market. And I think that owners just started to recognize, hey, there are people that are big fans of these classic rock bands mostly, and they can sell tickets. And lo and behold, it's really the truth. Get the Let Out, for an example, is probably, in my opinion, a semi-national band traveling around in a tour bus, both coasts, whole road crew. They're really, really doing it. And I just think that they kind of set the precedent, I would like to say, and the whole market just exploded with tons of Zeppelin bands, tons of Journey bands, tons of whatever. But I got to tell you, no matter what configuration of the Zeppelin band, say for example, they all work and sell tickets. So I think that owners came to realize that the cover band thing's good. I play the cover bands, still do some freelance work, but the tribute band is like if you want to go see a specific act and a nice concert atmosphere, then you want to go see your tribute bands. Close your eyes, you think it's them.
Yeah, that's my theory as well. There are just a lot of geezers out there like me who still enjoy hearing these songs performed live. And for the most part, these tribute bands get it done quite well. I've seen Get the Let Out 7 or 8 times. So
Oh
there
my
you go.
God.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned all those bands a moment ago, but I did not mention there being any Bad Company tribute
Mhm.
bands. And Quite frankly, I didn't know any existed until about a year and a half ago when I saw an ad for Burning Sky. And as a huge Bad Company fan, I was thrilled to see that you guys existed and then to actually see you guys in action last November. But let's get to the origin of this band. What happened first? A bunch of guys deciding to become a band, or you deciding you wanted to assemble a Bad Company tribute band? How did it happen?
Well, this is exactly what happened. So I mentioned earlier that I played in cover bands a lot. That's how I make my career. I'm a full-time drummer, been playing in all those Royal Caribbean, everything. So what happened was that when I saw the tribute band circuit coming to life, I really didn't know what to do, to really be honest with you. I said, I want to do this. So I started looking on YouTube, and I noticed that there were some Bad Company bands back 9, 10 years ago, maybe a few years ago. And I'm looking around and I said, there's all Zeppelin bands, Cheap Trick, Journey, Leonard Skinner. It goes on. I said to myself, if I start a Zeppelin tribute band, because I'm a really big fan, what am I going to do different to get my little niche in the
Mhm.
circuit? So I was like, you know what? I was like, I think Bad Company might be a good bet. I said, if I could find the musicians to pull it off, because I'll get to this in a minute, but the music is a lot harder than it sounds.
Yeah.
But I did. What I did was I found individual players. We were all on the same page, and that really helps a lot. And we just started right in the basement learning song one. And the thing about these guys are that I really got to tell you is we're just not a band that covers Bad Company. The two guitar players worked and still work umpteenth hours on recreating the guitar sounds, actually trying to get the studio sounds, and the whole band the same thing. The bassist, myself, keyboard player. We were all on the same page. We're excited about it. And I just went for it. I said, and believe me, not that I didn't get any flack. People are like, what are you starting a Bad Company tribute band for? I said, well, obviously Zeppelin and Journey have, I would say, which is phenomenal. It's crazy to think they have a bigger household name, but no one's doing Bad Company. So what I did was I said, okay, I'm very business oriented. I set up all my social media pages and a Google business page even before I had picture one. What happens is I start getting some content, and the owner of the Landis Theater, this is why I set up the social business pages. He saw our Facebook page, and he's a real big fan of Bad Company. He contacted me before I even had a chance to solicit him. He sent me an email. He says, Aunt, my name's Ray. I'm a big Bad Company fan. How would you like to play a show in my big theater? I was floored. We went and played. I think we sold 350 tickets, unknown, just a band that's just started out. And I'll be honest with you, I really didn't make a bad choice because I'm really happy what I'm doing. People really want to hear the band, and they're paying well. I'm here in Fort Lauderdale right now. A guy, an agency saw our band. Who There's a fellow down here that has like a mansion, literally, and he loved Bad Company, and he said, "Get these guys." We negotiated. He got us. We played the show Saturday. Phenomenal.
Here's a sample of Burning Sky. Hey, back in December, in connection with Paul Rogers' 75th birthday, I put out a poll asking people for their favorite songs that Paul sang, whether with Free, Bad Company, or The Firm. And you, Anthony, didn't vote. So I'm going to ask you again. What is your personal favorite Bad Company or Free song? That's
Well, sorry about that, Chet.
okay.
I must have missed it. So Bad Company, my personal favorite song, one of them is Deal with the Preacher. I really love that song. I mean, obviously there are other songs, Feel Like Making Love. That song for me just has like a special energy to it. Some people call it a B-side. I just like that song because it's energetic, just the arrangement. All Bad Company songs, in my opinion, there's really well-written songs. I like that one personally. The Free song, the one I personally like is called Wishing Well. That has a lot of energy, and sometimes we use it to open up the show. And The Firm, I obviously like that because Paul Rogers, the Jimmy Page thing, any one of their songs. We do Radioactive. We're actually working on learning Closer. We're trying to use that. Really difficult songs, but we're going to get it down, and we'll add them to our playlist as well.
Well, it looks like you guys have a pretty busy spring and
Yeah.
summer. Thursday night, you're at Sweeney's in Northeast Philly. Great venue for bands, by the way. I've been to Sweeney's often. Any other shows you particularly want to plug?
Yeah, we actually have, so besides Sweeney's, we have two shows at Gus's Crab Shack. That's on June 15th and August 15th. We also are playing a show in Lock Haven, Pennsylvania. I guess it's like a township show. That's on Sunday, July 13th. In October, we're actually going to be going to Wisconsin. There's a fellow that contacted me. He's having a Rocktober event, and they haven't had any Bad Company tribute bands in that area. So he actually called me up and he said he likes to deal with the band leaders one-on-one. We worked out the money, the situation, living the quarters, all that stuff. And he listens to the people in his theater, I guess his customers. He said personally, wasn't a big fan of Bad Company, but when he went looking around for a Bad Company tribute, the people in his, I guess, theater group or whatever, he said, no, we want them, meaning us. I was like really flattered when he told me that. And he said, look, here's your deal. I have a 9-bedroom band house that you guys could stay in. You could come in a couple days earlier if you want.
Wow.
So we're really looking forward to that. And he said, you guys are probably going to sell out both nights. I said, okay, your theater. I was never in Wisconsin before, so that's okay.
That's awesome. All
Yeah.
right, we got a couple of minutes left. Wolf, your nickname, Wolf. In our last couple of minutes, let's play a game of Fast Five. I'm going to hit you with 5 questions. Give me 5 brief answers, okay?
I'll try.
All right, here we go. Number 1, what was the first concert you remember attending?
Foreigner.
That's a good one. Mine was Kiss, 1976, by the way.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Number 2, I think I know the answer, but maybe not. Who's your favorite rock and roll drummer and why?
Oh, that would be John Bonham.
Yep.
And Simon Kirk right up with him. Can I just say something a second?
Yeah.
The thing with the drummers is it's really hard. Like my own personal favorite guy is John Bonham. You got Neil Peart, Stuart Copeland. It's really hard to say your favorite, but I mean, I actually got inspired to play drums by listening to Led Zeppelin. So that I would have to say him. Simon Kirk's phenomenal, Neil Peart, but I would have to say my good old guy Bonzo is my influence.
I saw the website and I saw that you mentioned him, so I figured that was what you're going to say. Number 3, in addition to being a talented musician, Wolf, you are an actor. Any particularly memorable or forgettable roles?
Yeah, actually, well, briefly, I started out going to an open casting call for a Planet Fitness commercial. They wanted a longer hair drummer to play snare drum role. I wound up getting the role. Then I did some time on the Mayor of Easttown with Homebox, and then Army of the Dead with Netflix. They dressed me up like a zombie. It's a shame they won't let us keep our cameras because I would love to show you a picture. I just did a role for Apple Plus TV last year. It was called Catamount. But the most memorable thing was, and I never had this happen to me before, the whole story, I guess the premise, 2 motorcycle gangs, whatever, but they had a whole motorcycle and camping set up. And that's the first time I was ever in a set where they actually said, okay, we're going to blow up this truck. There's going to be a fight scene with machine guns and we're going to give you a gun and blah, blah, blah. That to me was wild. I mean, just to be there and watching them, they were throwing Molotov cocktails at us, blowing up trucks. Oh my God. That was so far the most memorable thing for me.
All right. Number 4, Bad Company is finally a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominee. Sum it up. Why is Bad Company Hall of Fame worthy?
You got arguably one of the best singers in rock and roll. Boz Perrell, who used to play baseboard and he passed, wrote a lot of the songs. That band is just super talented. They were called a super group in the 70s. Every song well written. I don't think I ever heard a Bad Company song, to really be honest with you. Yeah, they're just a very talented band. I don't know why they haven't been in the hall sooner, but I hope they get in. So that's why. Talent.
Yeah. And number 5, I'm going to mention that last week I put out a piece on the many fantastic albums released in 1975. I ranked Bad Company's Straight Shooter 5th. What a year for rock albums. Which of these, besides the Bad Company Straight Shooter album, would be your favorite?
Well, I got to tell you, it's hard to pick. I mean, I can't put them in order, but I mean, I would say you got Pink Floyd, the Aerosmith, Bad Company, obviously, Fizzle Graffiti, Kiss Alive, David Bowie, Queen, yeah.
And Rush released 2 albums, Fly By Night early in the year, Caress of Steel at the end of the year. So I loved Rush.
This category, like even when you just talk about music and musicians, it's so subjective and so controversial because how do you really pick? I guess it's everybody's own taste, whatever you like. I can honestly tell you, if you would look at my iTunes, and this is no lie, I have everything on there from like Petula Clark to the 70s. Super, like I like the vocal groups, the Association, stuff like that. Then the fusion music, the fusion rock, like Jeff Beck, Dave Weckl, the drummer, listen to him, and all the way up to the '90s stuff, which I think was a really good era for music. Yeah, I listen to everything, really.
I'm the same way. Hey, we are out of time. If you're a fan of Bad Company or just seeing live music in general, catch Anthony's band Burning Sky this Thursday at Sweeney's in Northeast Philly,
Yeah.
or March 22nd. March 22nd at Well Crafted in Lansdale. You won't be disappointed. Thanks a bunch, Anthony.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, Chet.